It begins with a sound unlike anything you've ever heard.
There's two of them across the creek at the big rocks. That's our job.
A deep, almost guttural growl, followed by a rapid, almost playful chatter. Voices not quite human, not quite animal, something in between. The year is 1971. The place, the vast, remote wilderness of the Sierra Nevada mountains in California. Far from the nearest road, far from the nearest town. A place where cell phones don't work and where the night is darker than ink. The men who heard it were hunters, experienced, comfortable in the wild. They had come to this spot for years. They knew the trails. They knew the animal tracks. They knew the language of the forest. But this night, they heard something new, something that didn't belong. It began just after sunset. The forest was quiet. The wind barely moved the branches, only the crackle of the campfire and the occasional pop of burning wood. Then a long, drawn-out howl, low at first, then rising. And then another voice answered, higher pitched, faster, like a conversation. The hunters stopped eating. They stared into the darkness, forks frozen halfway to their mouths. What the hell is that? The sounds grew louder, closer. Two, maybe three distinct voices, each with a different pitch, each carrying a strange rhythm, like a language. But no language anyone knew. One voice deep, commanding, another faster, chattering, almost mocking. It was as if they were arguing or telling a story or imitating. And then they did something that made the men's blood run cold. They started mimicking the hunters' own voices. The men grabbed their tape recorder, a bulky reel-to-reel machine, heavy, awkward, but reliable. They pressed record. What they captured would become one of the most famous pieces of unexplained audio in history. For the next hour, the creatures stayed just beyond the firelight, never close enough to see, but close enough to hear every breath. At times, the voices were loud, almost angry. Other times, they were quiet, murmuring as if whispering to each other. The men sat frozen, rifles within reach, eyes locked on the shadows between the trees. As the night wore on, the voices faded. The forest returned to silence. When the hunters played back the tape, they knew instantly they had something strange. The tones, the range, the speed of the speech, it didn't match anything they had ever heard. Over the years, they returned to the same spot. Again and again, they heard the voices, and again, they recorded them. Dozens of hours of audio, different nights, different years, always the same spot, always the same strange language. When the recordings became public, scientists took notice. Linguists analyzed the patterns. Some called it samurai chatter because the deep voice sounded like a warrior from an old Japanese film. Sound experts measured the pitch, the lung capacity needed to produce it, the vocal range, the speed. The results were baffling. The pitch shifts were beyond normal human ability. The frequency range exceeded that of an average person, and yet the structure was deliberate, like a conversation, not random noise. Some claimed it was proof of Bigfoot, that deep in the forests of North America, there existed a species of large, intelligent primates, capable of speech, capable of communication. Others were skeptical. They said it could be a prank, a hoax, men hiding in the woods, orchestrated voices. But for those who were there, the idea that someone could survive in that remote, predator-filled wilderness, night after night, just to play a trick seemed impossible. Ron Moorhead, one of the hunters, has told his story for decades. He insists what they heard was real, not human, not fake, and not a known animal. In interviews, he describes the sheer volume of the voices, how the sound seemed to vibrate in his chest, how, despite the fear, there was also curiosity, wonder. Because if these creatures were real, then they were more intelligent than anyone had imagined. In the years since the Sierra Sounds tapes have been studied and debated, some experts still call them authentic, others remain convinced they are man-made. But here's the thing, no one has ever been able to fully reproduce them. Today, the location of the camp remains secret. Only a handful of people know where it is. It is still remote, still wild, and still silent, at least most of the time. Some nights, when the wind is right and the moon is hidden, that silence breaks, a howl, a scream, a rapid-fire chatter that doesn't belong to any man or beast we know. So what do you believe? Could Bigfoot or something like it still roam our forests? Is there a language of the wild we have yet to discover? Or is this just a legend, a campfire story? Captured on tape? Maybe. The answer is still out there, hiding, watching, waiting for us to listen again. Thank you for watching. If this story made you think, hit the like button, subscribe to 777 File for more real stories that challenge what we believe, because here we search for truth, and sometimes the truth is hidden in the dark. See you in the next story.
There's two of them across the creek at the big rocks.